Hello! Thank you for watching the Willis Ladies Cooking Dinner. We have Jenny and Whisper and Pillar and Rainy in the kitchen today. And I thought since we have a lovely bag of shredded zucchini in the fridge from our friends who have grown a lovely big zucchini, Pillar's going to get it. We'll make a zucchini pasta with white sauce. So in this video, I'm going to teach the basics on how to make a white sauce, and you can do so much with white sauce. You can do gravies, you can do all sorts of different types of pasta. So you can do this, what we're doing tonight, and replace the zucchini with any vegetable you want and turn it into a completely different meal. This meal would be really great with chicken, but I have no chicken thawed right now, so we're not going to have chicken in this meal. But add chicken if you have chicken.
You could, with white sauce, you could make Alfredo sauce.
Alfredo sauce.
And macaroni sauce.
Yes, exactly. So Rainy has a great concept of what to use white sauce for, so she suggested Alfredo sauce and macaroni and cheese, which is also an awesome addition. Alright, so here's our bag of zucchini. It's probably about 2 cups worth, and that's what we're going to use for our pasta tonight. Alright, first things first, we almost always add onion to our dishes and garlic. So since we're doing Alfredo sauce, a garlic sauce is going to be just great. Jenny, you can bring her back to me. So we're going to start by sauteing onion and garlic into our pot, and I'll show you that.
Wait, there's a big difference there.
Okay, so to start a white sauce, we start by melting butter. So this is about 1/4 cup of butter. It might be 1/3 cup of butter, and we're just going to put it on the stove and melt it. And once it's melted, we'll do the next step.
Next step is chopping up an onion and mixing 3 cloves of garlic.
Alright, so right now we have Pillar on the counter getting the flour ready. That's going to be the next step in the white sauce. And we have Rainy who's peeling our cloves of garlic. And then we also have the onion over there, which I'm going to chop up in a second. We might only use half. And as you can see, I have 2 very hard workers in the kitchen, and we're missing a couple girls, Jenny and Whisper, and they're just in the other room playing. Sometimes Whisper just gets very distracted and needs a little sister to play with her, or big sister. So Jenny will be back soon, but for now she's keeping the baby busy. Okay, so now our butter is melted. So there's our butter. Now, when we're mixing flour and any sort of liquid, you have to be really careful to add it properly so that it doesn't get all clumpy. So the reason why we melt the butter is so that we can make a paste with the flour, and that way our sauce won't be clumpy. It's very hard to get the clumps out when you just add flour to a liquid. Alright, so we have our melted butter. I'm going to put the onions right in with the butter. Now this step I can do before the flour only because of the whisk I have, which is here. So this is my favorite whisk. Everything can go right through, so you can stir with chunks. So if you have just a regular whisk, I would suggest sautéing the onions in a separate pan. Otherwise, they'll just get all stuck in your whisk. So you can either have a whisk like this or pretend like there's no onions in this butter right now. So the next step, to make a white sauce, you need to have flour and milk. So the reason, and that makes it nice and thick and pasty. The reason why we start with butter is to get the flour into a paste first, and that way it doesn't clump up. It's really hard to mix flour into a liquid without it being all chunky. So,
like a paper mache.
Yeah, so we want to make a paper mache-like substance. So we put almost a ½ cup of flour in there. We don't ever cook with a recipe. Well, usually we don't. So everything's just ballpark.
It smells like brownie.
Alright, so we've got like this pasty, I hope you can see that, but we've got this pasty buttery flour substance, and that's perfect. We probably won't need to add any more flour than that later. And if you do need to add flour later, if it's not thickening, then just make sure you whisk it really, really well and only add a very little bit of flour at a time. Like just sprinkle the surface. Otherwise, it'll be really hard to get the chunks out. Okay, so our garlic is just about done.
It's done.
Oh, it's done. All right.
It smells like brownies in here.
So this is mincing garlic. It could be a little smaller, but I love letting Rainy do her thing, so we're going to leave it like this. And I prefer it minced rather than pressed, I guess, because it adds some texture to your food, and also you really get that yummy fullness of the garlic.
But when
not just the flavor.
But when you press the garlic in the presser, you get a bit stronger.
Yes. So the smaller your pieces, the stronger your garlic. So this is why we use 3 cloves of garlic. It's a little much, but because we have it in larger pieces, it's good to have more of it because it's not so potent, I think is the right word. So we'll just toss that in there. And before we create the sauce with the milk, we'll let that garlic cook a little bit in the sauce so that it brings out the flavor more. So when you saute something like onions or garlic before you add a liquid, then it brings out the flavor a lot more than if you just add it into a liquid. So that's why we saute before we add liquid. Oh, thanks, Pillar. So we've got Pillar over here who's been an awesome helper.
And her feet are white from stepping in the
got
flour.
white feet, and she's putting the flour away in the cupboard without being asked because she loves to help. What a helpful girl. I'm coming over to help you right now, Pillar. Oh, Rainy's going to help her. Thanks, Rainy.
Mommy, I get on counter?
Sure.
I won't get on her. Well, Rainy's getting on too.
Good work, girls. Good teamwork. So as much as possible, I let the girls figure out how to get a task done if they've been given a task or if they've taken on a task on their own. And I give them as little assistance as possible. So, you know, this might seem bad letting your kids stand on the counter, but I find it's a good thing because they're learning independence. And if I ask them, hey, Rainy, can you go get the flour for me? I can trust that she can go and get it.
The counter.
All right, thanks, girls. All right, our garlic has cooked for only a minute. That's long enough to get the flavors going. And so now we're going to add our milk. So I probably added 2 or 3 cups of milk. I'm not quite sure. This part you need to whisk really well. Whisk out all those chunks that the flour may cause because it's still pasty at this time. Now, if you don't stir constantly, then your milk is going to burn. So make sure you're just stirring all over, all the time. Now that's going to take a few minutes to thicken, so don't expect it to be the right consistency right away. Your milk needs to get hot, and the flour needs to do its thing and thicken. I'm going to add some salt because pasta is better with salt. I use sea salt, as it's a little more natural. Well, it is natural, but it's a little better for you.